for the things you keep blaming me for. So unattainable the things I keep reaching for. Yeah, it's just the wrong way, but it's okay. Just a new lesson for...
What's up? It's Katie, and it's time for Cuss and Discuss. How are you? How's your week going? It's Monday. How was your weekend? What'd you do? Who'd you see? I had a pretty good weekend. The week's starting off fairly well for a Monday. I had a good weekend. So I'm just getting right off the bat with it, guys. I'm just going to get into it. I went out this weekend with some friends. We went to a friend's band out at another friend's, actually a friend's bar. So a good friend of mine, him and two other good friends, all play in a band called Wooden Cars. We got to go support them and listen to them play some badass music and dance and sit outside in the cool fall night bonfire. Well, I guess it wasn't bonfires, but fire pits all over the place. It was at 311 Wine House out here in good old St. Peters, Missouri. And that's actually owned by a friend of mine's mother. And I don't know that his sisters own it too, but they were there working. And it's the cutest little place. It's just this little brick house that they turned into this badass little wine bar, and the inside's gorgeous. But we were all outside, basically in like the backyard of this place. This cute makeshift stage, lawn chairs everywhere. Like I said, fire pits, I think there was a little bar outside too. It was a little chilly, but I was ready for it. I thought it felt great. Just throw a beanie on, a jacket, and stand by the fire. Granted, I smelled like a fucking bonfire for 3 days. My hair was just soaked in it. But it was great. We got to hear good music, see tons of friends that I probably haven't seen in a few years. It was very low key. It was a low key class reunion. But it wasn't just one class. I'm an 02 graduate. Sounds so old, but I'm 02. And there were 03, 04, I want to say. And then there were some 01 graduates there. I think even a 99 was there, you know? It was great. The music was awesome. They were selling T-shirts and just had buckets of beer flowing. Good times. Of course, I think at like 8:30 or 9, somehow the cops got called and busted it down. So it really was like being back in high school again. The cops come, tell us we're being too loud, and we had to disperse, which is kind of ridiculous because you're at a fucking bar restaurant, and it should be expected that on a Saturday there's going to be music if there's an outside fucking stage. But I guess the neighbors behind the place didn't like the music, wasn't their taste, and so they called 911, and they said, we have an emergency. People are enjoying themselves outside in the fall weather, and they're listening to beautiful acoustic sounds of a beautiful man's voice and someone playing the shimbe or whatever the fuck that thing is. But yeah, they called the cops. The cop looked very agitated, like we were just the worst of the worst kind of people. But it was stupid because we were having a good time and just being mellow. It wasn't like it was fucking metal or fucking 3-6 Mafia bumping. It was good. And the worst part was, I'm like, is this guy serious? Because where this is located is literally behind. We're like behind a QT, which is a QT that is bumping. I mean, it's right off the highway. It's right off 70. And it's a QT where pretty much every tanker truck fills up and rests and goes and gets his little thought that works the area, trucker thought. So I'm like, really, of all the things you're going to call the cops on, not the QT craziness, but everybody at 311 Winehouse. But yeah, I ran into a lot of old friends, and one girlfriend I ran into, haven't seen her in a few years, I don't think. No, I don't think it's been a year. It's been a few years. And it was great because she's like, hey, how are you? I'm like, so what's new? How are you? You happy? Things going good? She's like, yeah, I fucked my boss last night. I'm like, oh, all right. Tell me about that. What happened there? And she just went into it, right off the bat. I love that, though. I love when people just look at my face and feel like they got to admit all their sins. And that's what she did. She just got it right off her chest. I gave her 3 Hail Marys and told her to buy me a beer. And we were good. And she's better now. But she said the night before she got a little too crunk and she was out with her boss. I think they were at the Cardinals game and had a suite. And she said the beers were flowing, the drinks and the nachos were abundant. And she just had to get on that rod. But she did it. It's done. And she feels nervous about it. And I was like, look, do you love this guy? Do you want to be with him? She's like, no. I always thought he was attractive. I was like, well, did you guys have chemistry in the office, or it was just you guys were hanging out and then just pounded each other, mounted one another? And she's like, no, we kind of had a little back and forth, but never, I didn't think it would go to this. She's like, I kind of just pushed it. And I was like, wow, you Me Too'd this guy. Totally Me Too'd this guy. But she said that, no, they didn't technically hook up. There wasn't penetration, I don't believe. But she said that now she's got all this guilt and nervousness because she's got to go to work on Monday and she doesn't know what he's thinking. And I said, look, don't text him today. Just, Sunday afternoon or something. Just be honest. Be like, hey, are we cool? Are we going to have awkwardness at work? And, if you're not really interested or wanting to make this anything serious, then kind of just let him know that so that he's not all weird. I'm like, are you going to get fired? She's like, no. I'm like, well, then just, hopefully this will be forgotten. But honestly, if it was good for both of them, they're probably going to go back to it if they end up drinking again. So at least just make sure you still have a job on Monday. But I haven't heard from him. I am going to touch base and see what happened, how that all played out. But it was great to just catch up with someone literally 4 seconds in the conversation and hear about her night. It's nice to just get right back in there with friends. It was pretty cool though, because again, I had a lot of people come up to me commenting about my podcast, and it just felt really neat to know that people were listening. And I see that people are listening. I have the insights and I can see how many listen, what the average listening time is. So some of you fuckers are telling me you're listening, but I think that means you played it for 5 minutes, got bored and turned it off. That's fine. It's whatever. But, you're dead to me. Kidding. But no, it was cool because I would say a handful of people brought it up to me. I kind of forget about the podcast because I don't do it every single day, or I don't, I don't sit down and note what I'm going to do every day. I kind of note down what I'm going to talk about as it happens. And so when people come up and say, hey, I listened to your podcast, it was so good. And it also, I think it just surprised me who was listening, because a buddy of mine, I'm not going to say any names or anything unless they want me to, but a buddy of mine, I just never would have expected him to listen. And he's like, oh yeah, I was out of my property chopping wood. So I thought, hey, I'm going to turn it on. And he said he listened to all of them, I think, but the most recent one. So I was like, fuck, that's fucking cool. It's just badass to know that even if it's not entertaining, you guys are still staying in there. So thank you. And to know that he was, riffing off some of my jokes and telling me shit that I was saying that made him laugh. I was like, that's awesome. I'm glad at least I'm entertaining some of you. So anything else? What else do I want to talk about? So I had an experience the other night. As you all may or may not know, I'm a mom and my daughter is 1.5 years. She's had, sicknesses, ear infections and snotty noses and congestion, fever. She threw up a couple times, but that was back when she was on formula, so it really wasn't that bad. But the other night, she goes to bed 7:30. I go to bed 10:30. I hear her in there rustling around. And I did get a monitor now. So I have a monitor again because the last one pooped out on us. And I just didn't want to go and throw out a bunch more money. But I was like, it's driving me nuts not knowing if she's laying down or what she's doing in there. So I forked out $70 for a cheapy little monitor on Amazon. And so I look on the monitor and I see her in there like writhing and rolling, and she normally sleeps pretty well as soon as she goes down. So I'm like, all right, what's up? I watch her for a couple minutes and she's whining. And so I say, Dave, will you go in there and check on her? Maybe she pooped. Dave comes in. He's like, she puked. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Go in there. All over her crib is red strawberries, just chunks. So he's cleaning out the crib, getting blankets out. I'm getting her wiped down because it wasn't like on her, just on her shirt. So I take off her jammies, put her in new jammies, and then I can tell she don't feel good. She's a little warm. Give her some Motrin, and I lay with her on my chest for a little bit, and we fall asleep. And then at like 11:30, maybe an hour later, I feel her on her back, and I'm like, oh, fuck. I was like, diarrhea. She's got diarrhea. It's up her back. Dave's dead to the world. He don't know what's going on. So luckily it was just to the top of the diaper there. Take the second pair of pajamas off, wipe her down real good, change her diaper. She's like half asleep because she's just so tired, so out of it. And it was like just water, basically. So get her all cozy and warm again. And at this point, I'm like, well, I'm not laying her down tonight. She's just going to lay in bed with me because she's not feeling good. So I'm holding her. We fall asleep again. And then I end up laying her right next to me, and she's on her back. And so I'm not sleeping very well because she's literally like writhing in her sleep. She's not awake, but she's whining and rolling a lot and just cannot lay still. And I can tell she's got a tummy ache. That's the signs, she's like in pain. Like she either has to go poopies, or I was scared she's going to puke. I'm like, what's it going to be? So all of a sudden I hear like this gurgling, which was her stomach. And it like makes this like crazy sound. So I jump out of bed thinking it's going to be vomit, turn on the light. And I'm like, what? And she opens her eyes and looks at me, and I don't see any puke. So I like lift her up and just hold her. And then she goes, and I just hear like a whoosh of water, like a lot of water. And then all of a sudden my hands were just soaked, and she just yucky pooed all in her diaper. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, Dave, we got a big one this time. So we run into the bathroom, and it is, I rip off her onesie. It's up her stomach, almost to her armpits, down her legs. She's cold, so she's shaking. She's not really crying. She's just like, what the fuck is going on? Why do I feel this way? And we had to give her a shower. This was at like 12:30 or 1 a.m. Poor baby's getting showered. Get her back in her third pair of pajamas. And luckily she fell asleep with me until 5 or 6 a.m. and slept the rest of the night. But we woke up and she did that 2 or 3 more times. So we stayed home all day and hung out. But trust me when I say I had volleyball the next evening, the day we stayed home sick. And when Dave got back and it was about 3:30 or 4, and my game wasn't until 8:30, but I was like, gotta go. I need a beer. I got to get out of here. I mean, it was just the longest day. So that was my first ever real baby sickness where she was just all day, all night, icky and sick. And I don't know if it was a flu or something she ate, but apparently, as they all say to any parent or any doctor, you can't take them to the doctor. They're just going to tell you, there's nothing we can do. Just give her fluids. Make sure she's eating a little bit. If she's not peeing in 24 hours, then you need to give us a call. If her fever reaches 104, all this shit. Like, basically, they don't want you to come in unless it's like an emergency. And by that point, you're probably not going to go to the doctor. You're going to go to the ER. But it was an intense few hours. I was like a zombie. So once I got a little bit of rest and I could tell she was okay, I was like, I got to go. It's time to be away from this house. We had cabin fever. But that was horrible. It was horrible not knowing what was wrong and how to fix it. And honestly, you just had to let her get it out of her system. But it was disgusting. Honestly, puke, I cannot do. I can't do puke. So the poop didn't really bother me that much. The puke, though, I let Dave handle all that. So I actually texted my girlfriend about her boss just now, asking how it went. And she said that it did go okay, and she thinks they're good. They were off today, I guess, for Columbus Day. Lucky, I don't have that off, and I work at a school district. She said tomorrow is the big day. They're going to interact, and she'll know exactly where they'll stand, and she'll update me. So good luck to her. Let's see how that goes. We'll have to touch base with that. I'll make a note next week. Fuck situation. All right. So this weekend, my girlfriend that lives in Houston will be back again. I feel like she lives here. It's awesome. I'll get to see her Sunday for sure, going to our other best friend's house. I mentioned not last podcast, but the podcast before, that the two of them came over here, surprised me at like 9:30, and Lindsay was hammered drunk. We tried to podcast. I actually had it on video, but I think I deleted it because I was so embarrassed for her. She was like, her head was like bobbing. She looked like she was giving herself a blowjob. She was the hottest mess I've ever seen of any human. But she's going to be back, and we're going to go over to Angie's and bring my baby, and we're going to all just hang out and have like a low-key pizza day hangout for that morning/afternoon before she has to get on her plane. But it's good to see my friends that live out of town. It's nice. It's hard to get together with friends as you get older, and that's why this past weekend was so fun. It was just like the best group of people. Everybody's just so cheerful, and everybody was hugging and high-fiving. It felt like we were at like Bonnaroo for small towns or something, but I don't know. Just makes me happy to see people and listen to good music. Am I right, guys? So tonight's wine I have is Ravenswood. It's a Zinfandel. And I don't know about you. It's a California 2016. It's it's a vintner's blend. So that means it's fucking ritzy. Actually, this is from Kroger's Best. Oh my God. So this morning I was in the shower, and guys, you may not relate to this unless you're one of those hair bun guys. Shout out to my buddy Jace. And Mark Malkowitz. I probably shouldn't have said his last name, but whatever. My showers are interesting because I wash my hair first. I have a system. Shampoo first, leave the shampoo in, put face wash on, take the shampoo out while the face wash sets. Then I may not put conditioner, and I don't always do that. But every time I'm rinsing my hair, regardless if it's after the shampoo or the conditioner or whatever, and I go to soap my body, so much hair I can pull from my butt crack. And I'm not talking about hair in, like, I have hair on my butt crack because I have a hairy butt crack. It is hair that makes its fun little way down from my scalp and gets stuck between my cheeks. And when I tell you it is a chunks of hair, I'm not exaggerating. And I stick it to the shower wall because I don't want it to go down the drain. I'm sure plenty of it does because I have long hair and it's very thick and I have a lot of hair that falls out. Thanks, hormones. Yeah, I stick it to the shower wall so that I can take it off later and it won't go down my drain. But I do make some very beautiful shower wall art. I actually noticed, like, sometimes if I like just throw it on there, like it looks like something. It almost, and I don't know if that's just like my eyes playing tricks on me, but I mean, I could do better than the MoMA. I think that's what it's called. It's an art gallery. Look it up, Google it, or DuckDuckGo if you prefer, if you don't want to be followed by Google. But I think I could sell my sexy butt hair art for thousands. Like, have you seen some of this art nowadays? Like, there's people that I don't even know. Like, all they do is like sneeze on a fucking piece of cardboard they stole from a homeless guy, and that could sell for hundreds of thousands. So I think that the next time I have a really unique hair wall art piece, if you will, that I'm going to take some really cool photos of it. I might use sepia. Is that sepia? Sepia? It's like that brownish, grayish tone. And I'm going to submit it to something and we'll see how that goes. I mean, I'm trying to make money in any way I can, guys. Besides hooking. Come on now. But no, I don't always let it go down the drain. It may hang there. It may stick there to the wall for a few days if I'm being lazy. But I do try to gather it all into I do a little circle with my finger, swirl it up, and then get a piece of toilet paper after I'm out of the shower and grab it, wipe it off the wall, and throw it in the toilet. So I'm not a complete pig. At least I don't leave my beard hair or my pube hair in the sink like some people. Dave. Which reminds me, I probably shouldn't tell this story, but I will because that's who I am. When my girlfriend came to pick me up when we went to Iowa last Friday, she came and got me at 7 a.m. And of course, the significant other used the facilities, and it can never just be a clean toilet. So it was ravaged with butt paint, and I wasn't about to clean that because I will, but I'm so sick of doing it. I'm about to hire a fucking cleaning lady for once or twice a month because I cannot stand that I have to clean the toilet almost daily for someone else's internal problems. But she's like, all right, you ready to go? I'm like, yeah. And I had all my bags at the front, literally at the door, because I had a feeling she was going to go, yeah, I need to go to the bathroom real quick. And of course she did. And I was like, no. We're going to make a quick stop up at Casey's because I'm going to get a coffee and maybe a little breakfast thing. I was like, go to Casey's. She's like, no, I'm just going to go here. It's just pee. It'll be riffing. No, Jess, I'm going to tell you now, you're not going in my bathroom. I don't want you to judge me and base who I am off someone else's splatters. So I made her go to Casey's, and honestly, it was probably cleaner for her. But guys, that's the end of my podcast. I hope that I ended on the most disgusting note possible. I want to give another shout out to all the awesome friends I saw this weekend. Shout out to my buddy Sean, Joe, and Marshall for an awesome show. Go check out their band, Wooden Cars. And if you're ever in the area, definitely go to 311 Winehouse. It was awesome. It's beautiful. Very cozy and chill little atmosphere. Awesome. And don't forget to like me, to comment, to follow, email, whatever. You can find me at Cuss and Discuss Pod on Instagram, on Facebook, or email me at cussanddiscusspod@gmail.com. And you can also find me on Spotify, Anchor Podcast, or Apple Podcasts. Guys, I love you. I appreciate you. I definitely want to have a couple guests on. I have one friend that did say he wants to come on the podcast, so we're going to do that. And then look forward to next week on the 25th. I'll have Jess on again, and it's going to be a special spooky Halloween podcast. We're going to be telling our own personal creepy stories, and then some that we found that we think are creepy. Or if you have something like a crazy, creepy thing that happened to you, or even like a ghosty story that you think is pretty good, write in, email me, text me, or just tell me in person, whatever you want to do. Love y'all. Appreciate it. Have a great week. And don't forget, put your hair on a wall and take it off with a piece of toilet paper and then throw it in the toilet. All right? Bye.
Where is my mind?